Yeah, so my name is Colton Lindsay. I'm from Ogden, Utah. I've been in the real estate industry for 14 years. I have a real estate sales team, a real estate brokerage, and a real estate training academy. That's me, and above all, I'm a freaking dad with some awesome kids.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So you've been in Utah your whole life?
Yeah, so I grew up here in Utah. I spent a couple of years when I was 19 for the Mormon church in Brazil. So I was knocking doors, selling the church. And then I've traveled a bunch too, from Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay. I did a bunch in Southeast Asia as well. Did a lot of time in Thailand. So I've just experienced a lot of different things out of the country as well.
Right. And that was all through like your Mormon work or?
So for a couple of years when I was in Brazil was when I was with the church, but the rest was just going and experiencing. I've gone back to Brazil several times, and then also in Thailand. When I first was married to my wife, we backpacked there for a while.
Oh man, that's awesome. I'd love to travel to all those countries. Something I've always wanted to do coming out of university, but the time and money sometimes is restricting. Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't. I would say your belief is restricting, right? Don't need resources. You need to be resourceful. Find resources, find a way. If you want to, you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich? In there, the idea that people think is, hey, I have to become rich financially. And reality, rich starts with a thought, moves to an emotion, and it manifests and creates. Just like with this program you guys are doing here, someone had the thought and you guys took action to be able to do it. And you got resourceful. You got onto a Zoom call. You started looking online. You started finding people. You started reaching out. You created that email template. And now we're having a conversation, just like you guys did with that school teacher. Everything is about becoming resourceful, not having the resources. You create resources from being resourceful.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Do you think people often place these restrictions on themselves through life experiences, or do you think it comes from other things?
That's all of the above, right? So, I mean, in the community you grow up in, the parents that you have, the school you attend, the religion that you're a part of, like, for example, you're going to have a different level of beliefs of what's possible or not possible if you're born in Canada compared to if you're born in the royal family in the UK, right? Like, it's just the reality of it. And so you can shift your beliefs and your perception, though. And how you have to do that is through three ways. One is create a new vision of the future and train your brain to see new possibilities. The second way is to create new historical events in the moment. You do something different right now that you don't normally do, and that creates a new history. And the third way is you go back and you reprogram your perception of your past, right? So for example, when you were a little kid, you might have done something that like made you feel like you weren't good enough. One of my experiences was I spilled red punch on my parents' brand new carpet before they moved into their house, and they beat the shit out of me, right? But as a kid, I thought that I wasn't good enough for my mom and my dad. And really looking back, as I reframe it, listen, my parents were in their mid-20s building their house. It's already financially stressful. And here their little kid goes and spills punch on, and now they got to replace the carpet before they've moved into the house. That's probably a bit frustrating, right? And they may have reacted out of a little bit of frustration and impatience and irritation. You follow me here? And
Yes.
so I can reframe that, and I can actually see that as a gift, because through life, it made me think I wasn't good enough, so I worked harder to prove myself through success. And now I've busted my ass to build a badass business. And now I can look back and realize, you know what, like that thing that I thought was actually, I wasn't good enough and I had to prove myself, was actually one of my greatest strengths and my greatest gifts. You follow?
Yeah. So that's
So,
kind of stuck with you since that moment, or?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't realize it in the moment, but as I look back and I could see defining moments, that was one of the defining moments. We have a lot of these, what I call stack-on effects. And from the time you're born, I mean, truthfully, you carry on the patterns and the beliefs of your parents and your grandparents and your ancestors, because it's a cellular memory. And so you come kind of programmed based on your lineage. Doesn't mean you have to stay there, though. You can shift your reality.
Yeah, I think a lot of your content is about just like pushing past your boundaries that you've set upon yourself. Is that what kind of motivated your YouTube channel?
No, truthfully, it wasn't, right? When I first started my YouTube channel, it was when YouTube was kind of coming on strong. In the late, 2008, 2009, I was starting to get into it. And I started making prospecting videos in 2010 because I thought it would help me get more buyers and sellers in my real estate business. And what I found out is it just helped inspire and influence real estate agents in general to get motivated and to get moving in their business. So it wasn't even like, I didn't even plan it to be like that.
Right. So the content kind of fell into your lap, it sounds like.
Kind of, right? You ever read the book Outliers? Amazing book by Malcolm Gladwell that talks about like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. You and I couldn't be Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. Number one, we weren't born in that time frame. Number two is we weren't born close enough to a school where we could mess around with computers at that time frame to actually have that opportunity, right? So there's no matter what, I don't care how powerful your mind is, I can't be Bill Gates. It's not possible, okay? But I happen to be born. How old are you guys?
I'm 23.
I'm 20.
Right. So you guys are like young. I don't even know if you guys are considered millennials. You might be beyond millennial. I don't know what the fuck you guys are. But like I was born at a time frame where I grew up in the 90s when technology was coming on. I played NBA Jam on a Nintendo 64. You guys heard of Nintendo 64, right? Like that's what I grew up playing. But I also experienced enough business before technology. Like I was in business before YouTube, before Instagram, before Facebook. I remember doing real estate transactions with a fax machine. You guys ever used a fax machine before? Right? So like fax machines just aren't normally used like they were. Now I can send a contract and I can get it digitally signed via computer. Back then I had to have printed off paper with a little sticky note that says sign here. Then I had to fax it and I had to have it go me through this thing. And then we mess it up. So we had to redo it again. Like it took just a lot of time, effort, and energy. Right. But I also was young enough where I had technology. I was one of the first ones on Facebook. I was really early adapter to Instagram, just like you guys probably, I'm guessing, have Snapchat. That seems to be like the thing, right? You're seeing TikTok come on, which is becoming a very popular program. Like if you're 45 right now or 50, you had the old school way of life and business, but you weren't on Instagram on the get-go, right? Like you see grandma using Facebook today and she doesn't quite understand how she gets it, but she's addicted to it. You know what I'm saying? And so I was just blessed enough to be born where I got both sides of that kind of spectrum, and it's really launched my business and just the opportunities that I have. I truthfully believe that people born between the ages of 30 and 40, if you're between 30 and 40 right now, you're born between like 1982 and 1995, you're probably the luckiest generation on the planet. If you're born after that, you're pretty damn lucky, but you're not quite as lucky as I am.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that it's social media, technology has all positively affected your business, right?
It's given me an opportunity for sure. If it wasn't social media, it would have been something else. And social media just happens to be part of, what's blessed me and been able to reach and create a network that's influenced other people.
Right, right. As far as like, affecting your personal life, do you think it's made it better, made it easier, or has it hindered it a little bit?
I mean, it depends on which area we're looking at with personal life. Obviously, it can become a distraction. I don't think social media is the issue. I think it's the addiction for people to have acceptance and approval of others with that like or that share, or that right filter, or whatever. And there tends to be a little bit of a game for some business owners because we understand that, hey, if I can get X amount of followers and engagement, I know it's going to fill my funnel up and I know it's going to grow my business. So the issue isn't the social media. The issue is being addicted to business, right? And so it can become a distraction from your family, from maybe your spouse or your kids or that present moment of being with kids. I mean, all you have to do is walk into a restaurant today and people are like this. You guys saw me when we were starting this, right? Like I'm trying to get other texts or whatever, put an Instagram post up while we're doing this. And so that can be a distraction for sure. But the distraction isn't the social media. The distraction is wanting to be involved with it versus being here in the present moment. But it's also been a great gift, right? Like it's enhanced because now I've been able to, my best friend is Al Torrey. He's from Boca Raton, Florida. I met him through the internet and he joined my mastermind a few years ago. I mean, how many great relationships have you guys, I don't know who the fuck you guys are. And now all of a sudden we're having a conversation because of social media. So there's that great opportunity as well. But we do need to, like one of the things I'm really consistent with is spending time away from my device, meditating, breath work, and really centering myself. I think that's something that's got to be powerful going forward with technology because technology is not going away. In fact, we're going to go from mobile or from computer and you're going to start to see more wearable technology. You're going to start to see, who knows, in 30 years from now, we're going to have this motherfucker planted in behind our skull, right? I don't know what the future is. And so we have to just be mindful of that and remember who the fuck we are at our core. And we're not devices. We're not technology. We're not even our body. I mean, you think about it, we're not even our body. Our body is a vehicle that's being controlled from something beyond the body.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Do you think that'd be something you're open to get that phone just built into your head?
Dude, I don't know. We'll cross that fucking bridge when we come to it. But I used to say I will never use Apple Pay. Now I use Apple Pay all the freaking time. So who knows? It is a bit weird though, thinking about how this plugged in behind your skull. I don't know, man. And you think about it too. It's going to be a division in social classes, right? Because what is an iPhone? I don't know what the new 11 is what, $1,300 or something? How much is that technology going to cost to put that into your brain? Who's going to be able to afford it? Now, those people that can afford it, they're a little bit higher class of finances, and they're going to accelerate their learning. And the person that can't afford it, right, they're going to be slower in their development. And you're going to see a division in class if that really does happen.
Definitely. It could create even more disparity than we have now, which, is pretty unfortunate.
We don't have that much disparity. Like, think about people that grow up in the U.S. or Canada. We don't fucking know what disparity is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've got it pretty fucking great. Here's what's so funny. I don't know what it's like in Canada, but at least here in the United States, people that are like in their early 20s, mid-20s, talking about how fucking challenging the United States are and how the policies need to change and I fucking don't like my country, whatever. The fuck, go live in Afghanistan. Go fucking grow up in West Africa, motherfucker. Like, when I was on my mission in Brazil, I literally was at people's houses where you could look through their wall and you saw the outside. Streams of shit and piss are going past their front house. I bet you guys have never had to experience that. Most people in the United States do not have to experience that, right? Like, we've got it pretty fucking great here.
Well, I'm on the same boat. Like, honestly, I've never, like, it's like those people, like, you go to the McDonald's drive-thru and they're constantly, like, complaining about getting the wrong order or whatever. Like, every time I get the wrong order, like, at a fast food chain, I'm just like, dude, it's food. Just eat it. Like,
right.
They're not getting a 5-star meal from there anyway.
Right.
It's the little things the little things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's I was talking to a friend about this the other day. I don't know if we're moving into a reality where I'm just becoming more aware or if society and culture is becoming aware. I'm just not quite fucking sure, right? But there is definitely a shift of consciousness happening in our planet today, in our human existence, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think that self-awareness is pretty existent in a lot of people, but some people take it too far and they kind of overexert it and, spread this negativity in a way that's like, dude, we don't care about what you have to say. It's like,
it's the whole first world problems thing.
There's two spaces in our existence. There's love space and then there's fear space. And when people come from that space of complaining or that victim, it's because they don't accept and approve of themselves. And so it's easier to identify with problems. For example, if people have some success or some victories, they're going to have people want to rip them down because they're whatever reason they're jealous or they're critical of it because they're experiencing problems in their life and they can't relate to that success. But you get a group of people that have some problems, they will fucking be best friends because they can relate to their fucking misery. Right? The old saying, misery loves company. And that's where, like, true leadership, there's a lack of leadership in our world today, especially in North America. And there's a huge demand for it. So if you can develop that skill of leadership, like there's an attraction to leaders for whatever reason. For example, here's a great leader, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Who doesn't fucking love Dwayne Johnson? That guy has something that people want. That's a leadership. And so if we can develop that asset to where people want whatever that vibe is, whatever that energy is, okay? Like, I talk to my mastermind partners and my students and my clients all the time about this. Like, you guys are obviously attracted to me for some reason. And usually it's because of my authenticity and my ability to be honest and real. I usually say the shit that people are thinking in their head, but they don't want to say it because of political correctness. They might offend someone, right? And when we can get really authentic with ourselves, it allows us to be honest with other people, knowing that we're going to polarize the situation. And when we polarize the situation, it might mean we lose friends. It might mean that we lose followers. It might mean that we lose a lover or a relationship. But it also might mean we attract a lot of awesome fucking people. And that's like someone like The Rock. That's what he's done. He has this way about him that people they just fucking obsessed over the dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So you've talked about how you yourself are a leader and a mentor to others. And that's through your company, right? Mastermind?
Yeah. So there's several ways. I think first off, we have to become leaders of ourselves. When we can become leaders of ourselves, people want that certainty. People want that direction. You think about this. We float on a planet in the middle of outer space, close enough to the sun that we're not freezing, but far enough away we're not melting. And I don't know if you guys have looked at the planets around us. There's no life form there. Like, we're literally floating on a planet in the middle of outer space with an estimated 7.5 billion humans on this planet. And you might not have noticed this yet, but in your 30s, I definitely noticed this, is that no one knows what the fuck is really going on. We're just fucking floating on this rock around a ball of fire and not sure what's happening, right? We're trying to, and so when you have someone that exerts that certainty, say like Rock or specific leaders, people want that certainty. They grasp onto that. They want to know that everything's going to be okay in the space of uncertainty. And true success and fulfillment is going to come from your ability to find comfort and certain in the space of uncertainty. How much uncertainty can you actually handle? And when you can go to that space, life just gets easier. It gets better. So how I've been able to do that is first create leadership in myself, absolute fucking certainty that no matter what, I'm going to be okay. And for example, finances and money are a way that create a lot of scarcity for people today. And it's the fear of either A, not having enough, or B, am I going to lose what I have? It's not about financial stability. That's what a lot of people want. It's about financial ability, that I can go fucking find a way to make money. And today, it's easier than ever. And so people want that. And how I've been able to then transmutate that leadership is first into my real estate sales business. We're leading clients to help buy and sell real estate. And then it developed to building my real estate sales team. So now my team members, my sales agents handle those sales. And then it transmuted into, well, I grew my own real estate brokerage. Now we have 30-something agents that look to me and my business partner as leadership, okay? And then it translated into the WGR Academy, where I have people pay $7,500 to even start with a one-year program with me. And they've got to pay it up front, or they have to pay multiple payments even more than that to work with me. But they want that energy. They want that leadership. They want that direction in their business, their finances, and their personal fulfillment, because they're not getting it in other places.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people are looking for this guidance and looking for this leadership. So it's great that you provide that for them.
For sure. Leaders create leaders. That's what we need in our world today.
Mm-hmm. Now, the WGR Academy, is that your goal out of it, to create more leaders, or can you tell us a little bit more about it?
No, my goal, that just happens to be part of the side of it. The goal with the WGR brand is to make a difference. So when I was probably about 31 or 32, I can't remember the age now, I used to tell everyone, hey, I was financially free by 31 and miserable by 32. I just wasn't happy, wasn't fulfilled. And that's a lot of people are missing that today, and they're always on social media or their text message or their email trying to get that fulfillment, right? And a friend of mine passed away. He was 39. He had stomach cancer. And so within 4 months, he was diagnosed till he died. And it really slapped me upside the face. Said, hey, Colton, you're going to fucking die one day. Between now and then, what do you want to experience? And I asked myself, what do I want to do before I die? And the first answer for me was, I want to be healthy. Like, I truly want to be healthy. And so I got that. And then as it developed, and it said, okay, before you die, what do you stand for? What's your message? And it became very simple. It's just to make a difference. Make a difference first for myself. Make a difference for my daughters, number two. Then number three, make a difference for my organization, then my community, and then the world. And then it can grow. And the best way to make a difference is by becoming the best version of me. And then when I do that, social media has become a platform to be able to share my message. Here's the challenge with social media today, though, is people want to get their message out. They're just not fucking clear on their message. And so they're coming across as false or what's the word, or not genuine. I mean, look at people today with their social media. Is it so fucking edited? It's so in fact, I think that's the future of social media. Like, think about, we'll use The Rock as an example again. How often do you see The Rock just hold up his phone and just start fucking talking to people? Like, that's what he's becoming, who he is in that moment. And we're going to see more and more of that happen, because that's what people want. They crave that authenticity. And unfortunately, so many people, they don't get that. They're disconnected from that. They think that the result is followers and money and the fame. And so they're willing to go rent a Lamborghini to take a picture in front of it and try and sell a fucking training program when they themselves haven't even fucking produced the results. You follow what I'm trying to say here? And so you've got to come from that space of authenticity. And the reality of it, authenticity only comes from experience. And experience only comes from fucking making mistake after mistake. Here's what happens when we make a mistake. You either can say, hey, listen, I'm going to get up, dust myself off, I'm going to correct and continue to move forward. Or unfortunately, the way we've been programmed from Culturescape today is we beat ourselves up. We feel disappointed. We become irritated. We become frustrated, and we become upset or defeated because we didn't get the results we were expecting. Truth is, your plan is going to get fucked up. And when we can start to see the fuck ups as the gift, then all of a sudden it shifts. Our whole experience changes from frustration and irritation to a blissful unsatisfaction. Bliss because it becomes fucking fun as shit, and unsatisfied because we want to create more. We want to be more. We want to do more. We want to experience more. Progress equals happiness.
Yeah. I really love that you said staying authentic and really staying true to who you are, because we looked at some of your YouTube stuff, and you even posted an argument that you had with some feminists. And I appreciate the fact that you even posted it, because some people would do that interview, and then they just wouldn't even put it up there. So you got a lot of
which
raw
one was
content.
that? What was that about?
I don't know if it was. It was something to do with feminism or something.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
There's a big confusion with that today, with the feminine energy and the masculine energy, because, and Me Too movement is a very powerful movement, but it's being abused by certain people, because there are truthfully women that have been taken advantage of, but there's also women that are using it as the victim mentality to hop on that bandwagon. And now, because of the feminine masculine energy, men don't know how to be men anymore. They don't know how to be in that space of masculine because they're afraid of being fucking persecuted by these feminine Nazi people, right? And then women truthfully don't know how to be in their authentic space of feminism, because now more women are in the workplace and they are competing against that masculine energy. And so they're tending to live more in their masculine space versus their feminine space. Listen, gang, equality does not equal sameness. I don't care which way you fucking spin the dice. A man has a penis and a woman has a vagina. That is not sameness. That doesn't mean they don't have an equal opportunity to be successful in business and life, and nor should a woman be held back because she's a woman, but also a man shouldn't be held back because he's a man. You follow me here? And so especially a romantic relationship, when a man can be in his masculine space and a woman in her feminine space, it will spark a polarity that is the fucking most addicting drug on the planet. Okay. But if we're being forced out of our natural core energy, we're not going to have that spark, that polarity. And therefore we're going to be acting out of frustration a lot of time. And that's not a happy place.
Yeah, definitely. I think you do need that true combination of both masculine and feminism to actually, build a good relationship. And, you might be seeing less and less of that with these movements.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then you also, men don't know how to be men because we're not taught how to be men. I mean, you think about the most of our existence on planet Earth did not involve an iPhone. Now, within seconds, we can send out a text message, and let's say, for you guys are single. You guys single? You guys got women in your life? What do you guys got?
We're both single. Yeah.
You're both single, right? And my guess is you prefer a woman in your life, or at least you want to go have sex or something. And so you're trying to court this woman, and all of a sudden, oh, fuck, I didn't hear back from her on a text message. What am I supposed to say? How do I approach her? How do I get that, right? Most of our existence didn't fucking have that dilemma. And now what happens is if you text too much, the woman's like, oh, who's this fucking needy motherfucker? I have a life that I'm living, right? Plus the feminine is an emotional creature in general, and you don't know how to act with her emotions, so you fucking follow it around like a little fucking puppy dog, and that turns her off even more. You get what I'm saying? And so the woman wants not to be fixed. The woman wants to be understood. The woman wants to be listened to. And guys, listen, I fucking know as much as anyone else. Sometimes that's very difficult because you had that taste of polarity. You had that taste of her pussy. You had that taste of that woman that can just captivate the man. And so it's being able to be okay with or without that and know who the fuck you are that will attract not only that feminine, but people in general. But man, the woman, the real feminine, she can fucking knock a guy off his game so quick. I don't know how she does it, but she fucking does it.
Yeah, it kind of relates back to that self-awareness and staying authentic and true to yourself, right? So
for sure. And you're going to have to go through those experiences to realize, hey, you're going to be more than enough with her. In fact, the masculine has a purpose. Like, you guys are here on Earth for a purpose. You might not know what that is yet, but when you can be purposeful and directional It's so attractive to a woman. What a real feminine is attracted to is emotional attraction, emotional security, emotional strength. And so when she's having her little emotional whatever, she doesn't want a guy that's going to flay around and be pulled into her emotional drama. She wants a guy that's going to stand there strong, okay? Because a woman's going to forget an emotional feminine energy. I need to be clear on that. A feminine energy is going to shift quickly. And a woman's not always in her feminine energy, but when in a relationship, oftentimes she's going to be. And so she just wants the masculine to stay strong. Now, when you go into the workforce, yeah, you don't want that. You don't want the feminine energy coming out all over the place. You want that rock, that consistency, that stability. And then from time and time again, you want to bring in some feminine, because that's really where a lot of creativity comes from. Think about it. Humans don't exist without a woman, a feminine, a female carrying that baby for 9 to 10 months. You get me here? That's where the creation comes from, is from that feminine source. But there has to be some structure to it. And that's where the feminine wants the masculine energy. And there's a big confusion, because there are men today that are born with a feminine core, and there are women that are born with a masculine core. For whatever reason, I'm not a scientist. I'm not God. I don't know why that is. But what we need as humans, we need to honor our core energy, whatever that is, and we need to act from that space. But there's a lot of confusion around it today.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of these people that are, quote unquote, born into the wrong body, they struggle to find their purpose as well. And you talked about that a little bit. I wanted to ask you, what do you think your purpose in life is?
It's super simple. Make a difference. Light people up from the inside out. Help people understand they're the fucking leader of their existence here.
Yeah, and I think you wanted to do that through the WGR Academy as well, through your company.
That's the current vehicle, but truthfully, it's just how I live my life, right? It's how I do myself is like a standard. People are looking at me, and the more I've done that, naturally it's flowed to me to where, hey, people are having eyes on to me from social media, and they look to me as that standard. They look to me as that something they want to emulate, just like I look up to people. And you do that by being the best version of you. You never know when someone's watching. And also understanding the best version of you isn't the perfect version of what you think it should be. You're going to make mistakes. You're humans. Don't beat yourself up, and don't hold it against someone for very long if they've got that hunger and that drive and that light inside of them. But you also can recognize the people that are very dim and very dark and that are just fucking parasites. Those are the people you need to build a fence around and keep them out of your life.
Absolutely. Now you talk about like how people go through these hardships. A lot of the experts that we've spoken to in the past have said, these moments of hardships and these moments of adversity are what actually builds character and makes you who you are. Would you agree with that?
I'm not sure I understand the question. So you're basically saying, hey, adversity is what builds character, right? Mm-hmm. It can build character. Like our adversities can build character, but they can also build stack on wounds where it becomes an excuse. How many people use it as an excuse to manipulate the system? You know what I'm saying? Why? Well, here's an example. People that are on welfare, why shouldn't they have to fucking take a drug test? You know what I'm saying? They're receiving money and from the government, whereas there's a lot of hardworking blue-collar people, they're going to be random drug tests all the time. Why shouldn't the person that's getting the handout be drug tested? And that's just a simple example. And so we've created a society where, because people are in that victim space, it's almost being expected to share and spread out. Canada is a prime example. You guys have social health care. How great is healthcare in Canada? I don't know, but I know there's a lot of people that will come over to the United States for a surgery. I know that there's a lot of people from the United States will go into Mexico for a surgery because they've got the money to pay for it. You follow me here? And if I'm willing to get my ass out of bed at 4 a.m. to go create a better version of me, which in turn creates more dollars into my control, I think I should have a say in how I get to control that and who I'm going to give that money to in exchange of value. Now, what people are saying in Canada is, hey, everyone should have the same rights here. Yes, everyone should have the same rights, but does that mean that if I'm willing to work harder or produce more results, I shouldn't get more out of my life? You see what I'm saying here? And there's a couple different views on it.
There's a constant, bickering between two sides. I personally really like the social health care, but in a way, like, there's things that can be better. Like, there are people that abuse it up here. There's people that go to like walk-in clinics and they're just packed with people just because they might have like, you know, scraped their arm and they're like, oh, I don't want it to be infected or something. Like, it's ridiculous because I'm usually trying to keep on top of my health. So like, I'm never like going to the walk-in clinic, but like I see lineups like almost every morning and stuff. It's almost like we need to like kind of have both. Like we need to it's like people need to be able to pay some kind of price to at least like go into a walk-in clinic. Like if they have to pay a fee every time, then they wouldn't abuse it, you know?
Sure. Well, it's not even a matter of like giving that healthcare for free, but if I'm willing to pay, give me some fucking service, right? Like because we can't work on free forever. We have to work on value exchange. If there's no value exchange, it's going to suck all the energy out of the system. There has to be energy pumped, fuel pumped into the system. And, you know, people, what they need more than anything, in my humble opinion, from my 35 years of experience, is they need to take responsibility. They need to be inspired to empower themselves. It's the whole, it's taught in the Bible, give a man a fish or teach a man a fish. What are we going to do here? Unfortunately, we're enabling so many people because of their victim mentality story. And it's like, hey, listen, if we don't help this victim, then I'm the bad guy. I'm the one that's in the wrong place because I should be obligated to do it because I'm a human. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just trying to figure this shit out like everyone else. You feel me here? I'm doing my absolute best. And I don't know the right or wrong way, but I know I get up every fucking single day to do the best version of me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I'm saying about public health care, there has to be some kind of regulation to it. Because there are people out there that, you know, like they do, because that's the thing with private healthcare, like you work your ass off and you get these kind of, you know, like if you make all this money and stuff, like you can actually use it like for stuff like private healthcare. If like,
absolutely.
Like that's the thing. I do believe in that too, but it, you know, like there has to be like people abuse stuff when it's free or when it's handed to them, or like it's even the same thing. Like there's people that argue for like just say post-secondary. There's like people that are like post-secondary should be free because like I don't know, is it Sweden that has it free or something? Is Sweden has it free? But I personally don't believe in that. I feel like you have to pay something. Like I feel like post-secondary is really expensive for what it is. Like I feel like it is a lot of money. There's a lot of like people coming out of it that aren't employed and stuff. Like that's a deeper story. But you have to be paying something to do stuff like that.
Well, I mean, you look at the United States through a regular healthcare plan that I would get for my family. I'm going to be $1,000 a month to pay for it, and then I'm going to be $14,000 in deductible before my insurance will pay for anything. So by the time I pay my premium and my out-of-pocket, I'm $26,000. The average fucking American can't afford that. Who can fucking afford $26,000 before they get health care? Not many people. So I have a couple choices. Either A, I better learn to fucking make some money so I can afford my health care, or I need to look for a better option, which that's exactly what I did. I went through Christian Health Ministries because it's more of a health share plan versus it's where people together contribute and donate to a pot. And then when someone needs it, then we share for those people. We help take care of each other. To me, that's a way better program because it's us taking care of each other versus I'm paying some company that's making millions and billions of dollars to take care of me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at the same time, it builds that sense of community, right?
Absolutely, for sure. And there's a lot of people from Christian Health Ministries that are very blessed to be a part of that community. Whereas me, I don't necessarily need to go to the doctor that much or have a major issue at this point in my life, but I can contribute to people that might have some things that are unfortunate in their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And at the same time, when you need it, then you can use it, right?
100%. Hopefully I never need it, but if I do, I can count on them.
Yeah. That's like the whole thing when I'm saying, like, I like things right in the middle. Like you have like, is it like going too far to each side? Then people abuse things or people think it's unfair and stuff like that. But like what you're saying, like that's exactly how I would like stuff.
Right. And it's not a matter of, it's not that I don't want to help people. I do. I just don't want to be told who I'm going to help. I don't want to be forced on where I'm going to spend my money.
Yeah.
I want to choose who I'm going to give to and who I'm going to create value for. It should be my choice. This is my human existence.
Yeah, I get that for sure.
It kind of brings us to that like ongoing theme of our conversation, just like having a balance in your life. I'm going to kind of spin it here into one of our questions. How do you balance your personal life and your work life?
I don't have two lives. I don't have a work life. I don't have a personal life. I have a human fucking life. And so it's like, what am I going to do today? Everyone thinks about life as these different segments, and it's one life, one human life. Now, there are some realms of our life, spiritual, mental, physical, social, financial, emotional, that we've got to pay attention to. But there's no business life. There's no professional life. There's no personal life. It's all one life. Okay. And so we've been taught, especially as you guys develop and you guys learn about business and growth, time management. In the saying used to be, prioritize your schedule. You guys may or may not have heard of that. It used to be a very common phrase. And the reality is schedule your priorities. We have to become clear on what are priorities in my human experience, and then we schedule them. So instead of time management, I believe in life management. This is my life. This is my show. This is my reality. And I choose to have business and my mastermind and my academy be a major part of it at this point in my life. That's what I choose to create. And so that's what my priority is. And that's what I schedule. But also one of the things that's very important for me, because I believe, for example, if I ask you time equals what does time equal?
It's a hard question to answer.
Just give something. Give the first thing that pops to your head. Time equals what? Say it.
Time equals opportunities.
Great. Time equals opportunities. That's what you believe time equals. Do you know what a lot of people say time equals? Money. You probably have heard that before. Time equals money. Time equals opportunity. Time equals deals. Time equals this. Time equals that, right? I believe, for my reality, is time equals emotion. Each moment that passes, I'm experiencing a human emotion, whether that's fear or anger or joy or excitement or peace or tranquility. So then I want to look at, okay, what emotion do I want to experience more of? For me, first of my day, I want to experience peace and tranquility. I want to just experience it like, dude, you're fucking amazing, right? You're in a great space. So I do those activities that allow me to feel that. Whereas most people, they get up, and it's been shown in studies today, 80% of people have a cell phone either in or near their hand in the first 15 minutes of time getting out of bed. What do? They go to social media. They look at their Apple News. They go to their email, their text messages, their Snapchat, there's something. So now all of a sudden outside forces are creating the thought pattern that affects the emotion. And there's a lot of overwhelmment and anxiety today. And people don't know how to deal with it. So what do? They go and get their antidepressant. They go and get their fucking, their security pet or whatever the fuck it's called, because they aren't emotionally there. For me, what I want to do, and you're seeing more and more leaders be vocal about this, I go straight to meditation and prayer and silence in my life. I go straight to that space where I'm not getting external information coming in, but I'm getting internal information coming from the inside out. And that, to me, is really important. So we have to decide, what are these rituals in our lives that are going to create the emotions that we want. Now, I don't want to live in a permanent life of peace and tranquility, because sometimes I want to feel excited. Sometimes I want to feel enthusiastic. Sometimes I want to feel absolutely fucking certain that I'm going to be okay. So what are these rituals or activities that if I do them, it creates and generates that emotion?
Yeah. Yeah. Is this something you do on a daily basis, or do you like?
Every fucking day. Every fucking day. I break my life up into a morning routine, a daytime routine, and an evening routine. And what do I want to feel? What I want to experience is the emotion. So during the morning, I want peace and tranquility. I want to turn it up into enthusiasm and excitement as I get going. Okay. Then when I get into business for the day, when this is like a work day, like when my Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, then I want to get into certainty that I'm going to draw revenue into my business, that I'm going to drive clients into my business, certainty that I'm going to continue to grow and expand that part of it. And then what I want towards the end of the day, I want some relaxation. I want some connection with people. I want to celebrate myself. I want to look at my victories in life. And so depending on what part of my day, and I look at a Saturday or even a Friday or a Sunday, I usually spend time with my daughters. I want to feel present. I want to feel connected. I want to feel that fun and that happiness and that joy. And so I go do those activities. It's all about identifying what part of my day do I want to experience these different emotions and what activity is going to go do it. And I schedule it and I do it. I don't worry about how I'm going to pay for it, how I'm going to afford it. I figure out a way based on the emotion. And then that's part of faith. When we do that, that's what makes this whole fucking thing weird, guys. When I act, it sends like a signal to God or the universe or source energy, and then it just figures itself out. It just falls. That's the quantum reality that we're living in. It's not a linear reality like we've been taught to believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It allows you to, well, it sounds like it allows you to hone in on one certain activity and give everything you have to it.
Absolutely. Think about this for a second. You guys are in Canada right now?
Yeah.
And I'm in Ogden, Utah, and instantaneously we're fucking seeing each other and talking to each other? What the fuck? Are you kidding me? Do you know how that works? I have no fucking clue how it works, but it works. There's some sort of wave, some sort of energy, some sort of movement there that takes the energy particles and the information and it creates it into whatever it is we're seeing and experiencing. That's how everything works. You see what I'm saying? Like, where are you guys right now? In some like sort of room? You're in a room right now?
Yeah, we're in a studio room.
You're in a studio room, okay? And you got like this Puma hat on, and you got these clothes on, and you got the white wall, and you're sitting in the chair. Where the fuck did all this stuff come from? It started with a thought, and then that thought moved with an energy in motion, which is emotion, and then it led to an action, and then it created this. It just fucking appeared. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing how far, humanity has come, looking at it as a whole.
Yeah, it's not even humanity anymore. It's the whole vision. It's a hallucination. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Aside from, the meditation, the prayer, do you do any goal setting for yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I do target setting, and my belief is make your goals so big that it stretches you, but have your values so simple, it's easy to feel good most of the time.
Right. Now, do you have like certain goals that are bigger than others?
It just depends. It depends on what's big. What do you consider big, right? Because Elon Musk wants to fly to fucking Mars. I don't have that goal, right? I don't have that vision. So a lot of my goals revolve around one of my human life values: spiritual, mental, physical, social, financial, or emotional. And I take a look at, hey, where do I want to grow? And how do I discover where I want to grow is by determining where am I discontent, where am I unsatisfied in this particular space, and then I pay attention to it. Okay, here's where I'm at. I accept it. I shall know the truth, and the truth shall set me free. Where do I want to be? What's the new vision of my reality? And then what patterns do I have to shift, and what new historical experiences do I got to have that's going to create that reality? You follow me here? And so I see goals as just targets, ways I want to grow. I'm not as worried about hitting my goal. I would rather, for example, we're talking finances, I'd way rather have a goal to hit $2.25 million and fall short at $1.5 million in a year versus make a goal of $1 million and hit that $1 million. You get me? Because I want to expand. I want to grow. Progress equals happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's good to have those, goals that are bigger than, what you think you could possibly do within, say, a year or whatever the time frame is, right?
For sure. And there's some things, put a time frame on it because it'll put you to work. But there's some things, hey, don't put a time frame on it. Let fucking God, trust in God's timing, trust in the universe's timing. And one of the tendencies we have is we have the ability to overestimate what we can get complete in a year, and we have an ability to underestimate what we can get done in 10 years. Okay. And so we need, especially you guys, if I could give you guys some advice at your age, be patient. Be fucking patient and do the work. What's the work? It's the inner development. It's restructuring your beliefs. It's creating better and different behaviors than you currently have, and you'll get different results. Think about this. You guys have farms up in Canada, right? You guys got some corn crops or some fucking different crops, right? When you go plant corn, you put the seed in today, you don't get it instantaneously. It takes time. It takes 90 to 120 days. And it takes cooperation from the soil and the sun and the water and the wind. And hopefully, there's not you know what I'm saying? There's elements out of our control. Who's in control of that shit? I don't know, but I want that motherfucker on my team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounds like these different forces kind of, have their own parts. And if everything cooperates, then you get something magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Miraculous. Miraculous is a good word.
Yeah, sometimes you don't even know what you come up with, but it's something good, so you kind of roll with it, right?
For sure.
Now, just bring it back to the goal setting. Do these goals often change for you? Do you just add to the list? Do you remove from the list, or how does it work?
100%. Everything's always evolving, right? Everything's always shifting, and also your space is shifting. So something that you want to create You might not want to create anymore. You might want to shift your goal. Now, there's a fine line of not wanting it because that's truly what you don't want, and not going after it because you fucking quit. There's a difference there. And opportunities come along the way. It's like when you have a glass that is half empty or half full, like there's a debate, is it half full or is it half empty? You guys have heard that, right? I want to look at it as the opportunity. I'm going to come in and drink the fucking drink, right? I'm going to drink what's ever in that cup. And so we have to look at what the opportunity is in front of us. And we have in our brainstem what's called the reticular activating system. Are you guys familiar with that? So it's at the brainstem that separates the conscious mind from the unconscious mind. And it acts as a filter. So when information goes through that reticular activating system, it goes into our unconscious mind and it proves that information correct. So if we want a specific outcome in our life, the more we put that in our filter, our unconscious mind will go find how that's true in our reality. And that happens over time. But here's the caveat. 95% of the information going through that filter is on repeat every single day from our unconscious mind previously. So we have to consciously be putting new information in. So if we want to achieve, let's say, a financial goal, that's a really target, or even a health goal. Like let's say we want to go from 210 pounds to 175 pounds. We have to consciously bring that to our awareness over and over again in a state of positive light and love. Because if I just do it based on I want to look good for others, we're doing it for other people. But we do it out of space of I want to be healthy and fit and live my best life. That's how we're going to create it. That's how we're going to manifest it. Does that make sense for you guys?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But if I just say, hey, I want to get down to 165, 170 pounds, but then I never again study about health and nutrition, I never show up at the gym, in fact, I never even look at my goal again or what I want to create, odds are it's not going to happen. It's pretty much impossible.
Right, because you kind of forget why you did it in the first place, right?
You even forget that you had the goal. You even forget that you set the target.
Yeah. So there's this constant like repetition and reminding yourself. It's definitely useful, don't you think?
Repetition is the mother of all skill.
Right. That goes for anything. It's even just like shooting a basketball, throwing a baseball.
100%.
Well, yeah, the more hours you put into something, as long as you're trying, that's another confusing thing is that a lot of people think, because what is that thing? It says like if you put 10,000 hours into something, you master it.
Yeah, so it's from that book Outliers with Malcolm Gladwell. It's the 10,000 hour rule.
Oh, it's from that book.
Yeah, the difference between being a professional musician and being a school teacher of music or a musical teacher is 2,000 extra hours of perfecting the craft. It's 8,000 hours versus 10,000 hours. So if you're willing to put in the extra work on yourself to become the better version of you, you're naturally going to experience different results that other people aren't going to have to put in that work. But also time becomes our best friend or our worst enemy. Because if I'm not doing those behaviors, that means I have different behaviors. And that means I'm ingraining into me those results, those behaviors, and I'm going to get those negative results over my lifetime. That's why do you think that 70% of North America is overweight or obese today? Because their habit is not to exercise on a high level. Their habit is not to put good nutrition into their body. They want to go to McDonald's like you were talking about, or they want something smooth and quick and easy and instant. They're not willing to do it. For example, if I eat McDonald's every day for 30 days, how quick do you think that's going to show up in my body that I'm like unhealthy? Probably pretty fucking quick, right? Yeah. But if I put 60 days in worth of eating green, healthy nutrition, I'm not going to see the results as quick. Positive echoes take longer to create into our reality, whereas negative ones, they show up pretty freaking quick. You get it?
And yeah, another thing, like a misunderstanding about the whole 10,000 hours is people like to ignore the fact that you actually have to try for those hours. It's not like, because I've seen people like they would half-ass stuff. Like just say, for example, someone wants to get good at like badminton. Mm-hmm. But so they're like, oh, I got to put the hours in. So they go in, just say they practice for an hour a day, except they're half-assing like everything. Yeah. Like that's a misunderstanding. I see a lot of people do that. Like they say, oh yeah, like it's almost like they're somewhat determined. They're like, oh yeah, I got the right idea by putting time in, but you need to actually like work your ass off till you're like sweating. And you can like you're playing badminton or whatever, you're trying to practice all these kind of techniques and stuff, but you got to be working till like you're sweating.
For sure.
And you have to be working towards something.
I think that's powerful that you said half-assed. That was a lesson I learned when I was a teenager, early teens, cleaning up horse stalls. My dad ripped me out of bed one night because I didn't do a good job cleaning up the horse stalls. It was like midnight or something. And I remember he took me out to the stalls and he said, "Hey, Colton, you can't do a half-assed job cleaning up horse shit." And that stuck with me for my whole life. Like, whatever I do, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to play level 10. I'm going to give it my best. It might not be the best on the planet, but it's going to be my best. I'm going to give it my all. And the old saying is, and it's a complete lie, is practice makes perfect. You guys have probably heard of that. Practice makes perfect. Truthfully, practice makes permanent. Because if we practice it in a shitty way, in a half-assed way, it doesn't become perfect. It becomes permanent that we're a half-assed player, a half-assed doer. You get me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes total sense. And also when you half-ass stuff, it's almost like you're just making more time. Like it's almost extending the time, because you gotta, like, if you half-ass something, like you said, when you had to clean up, whatever it may be, but like you had to come back later that day or whatever, you had to come back and clean it again. Like I've been through scenarios where I, like, even as a kid, if I didn't clean the basement or clean up my Legos or whatever, like I just half-assed it. I would obviously, like, my dad would come down, like, "You got to clean that up."
Yep.
And he'd be like, "Oh, I did clean it up." It's like, "No, you didn't do a good enough job." So then back you go. You got to waste more of your time, kind of deal. Like when you say time's a negative thing, time can be a really negative thing in terms of how you can waste your time for not, you don't put any effort in, you're just going to waste like potential time in the future.
For sure. It becomes a habit. It becomes a behavior.
It's a habit.
You know, I really like that you said practice makes permanent, because just to give you another sports analogy here, if you look at jump shots in basketball, a guy like Lonzo Ball, he has a pretty crooked jump shot. He shoots from like the corner of his face, and he's just done that his whole life, and it's going to bite him in the ass now that he's in the NBA. But if you look at another guy, maybe a Utah guy like Donovan Mitchell, he just has this pure jump shot, and he's shooting much better, his better percentages, and he's overall just look like a better player. So if you practice something the wrong way, it does turn into something permanent, you know?
Here's a great example. Allen Iverson, probably one of the most talented individuals ever to play in the NBA, but he was horrible at being consistent at practicing his skill set. He wouldn't show up to freaking practices. He would show up to games late or right before, and like you take someone like Curry, right? Steph Curry. That dude probably never misses a practice unless he's like super, super sick. And he's always there stepping up. And look at the results that maybe Steph Curry has had. And he wasn't the most talented guy. But look at the results that he had in his career versus someone like Allen Iverson. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
All right, gang, I got just a couple more minutes. We got to wrap it up. What else you guys got for me here?
Okay. I guess we do like some more like the trending questions and all that.
Yeah, for sure. So we saw you're pretty familiar with Elon Musk. You even posted about him on your Instagram account. Now he has all these business ventures. He has Tesla. He had PayPal before. He's looking to get into space eventually. What do you think this is all for? Do you think this is all for some global takeover that he's planning, or?
No, dude. Elon Musk is just a big thinker that he's driven by something that is different than me and yours purpose. I truly think he's got good beliefs that he wants to save mankind and start a part of our civilization on another planet. That might seem far-fetched for a lot of people, but it's becoming more and more of a reality, and it's a big possibility. So will it happen in my lifetime? I don't know.
But like you said, it starts with a thought. Like, exactly what we talked about here. It all starts, even though it seems like a huge thing, it all just starts with like Elon, for example. Like, who knows if we're on Mars in the next 100 years?
Who knows? I think we're going to continually shift. Like, do you guys carry paper dollars and Canadian dollars in your wallet still? Is that still a thing?
I do, sometimes.
Right. See, a lot of people in your generation, they got Venmo, they got Bitcoin, Robinhood is very popular in the younger generation for trading stocks and things like that. We're going to a paperless society, and more and more the same reason why you guys are doing this podcast or this program. It's information exchange. We're moving to we're already really deep into an information age. And we're going to see that deepen over the next 10 years for sure. And as we see more human beings have connection through iPhones or tablets in Africa and other countries, you're going to start to see new ideas form. You're going to start to new possibilities develop. And I have no fucking clue what they're going to be, but they're definitely going to happen.
Absolutely. Well,
I'm still waiting for my flying car, though. I want a fucking flying car. I wish
yeah.
Elon would fucking figure that out already. Come on, Elon.
yeah, I think that makes 3 of us. We just want to have fun with it, honestly. But yeah, thank you again for your time today. We'll probably just wrap it up here. We know your time is valuable, so we really appreciate it, man.